So please take note that it is not people who are hired professionally to be nannies that can also come to the UK to work as nanny. People who work with children, if you work as a nursery madam or crèche madam or someone that teaches children, you already have experience in child care, so you are more likely to work as a nanny in the UK and then register with them. They are an agency who can find you employers. At the time that I'm filming this video, there is currently no visa called the nanny visa in the UK. However, we have the overseas domestic worker visa, and this visa has been in existence for so many years. It's not now, it's not new. I know that recently there have been a lot of talk about a nanny visa, but we don't have nanny visas. You can use the overseas domestic worker visa to come and work in the country as a nanny. But this visa is not only for nannies, it's for drivers, it's for cooks. All domestic workers can use this visa. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 2 ways where you can come to the UK to work with sponsorship as nannies. Let's get into it. So I'm going to start by explaining who a nanny is, so that when you're looking for jobs, you know how to differentiate, because sometimes you don't see jobs for nannies, you see for au pair or childminder. Okay, so who is a nanny? A nanny is anyone that has been employed to provide child care. Now there are 2 kinds of nannies. We have live-in nannies and live-out nannies. If you're a live-in nanny, you are living with the family whilst providing child care to the children. But if you're a live-out nanny, you have your own apartment, you have your own residence, and you come either daily, weekly, or whatever the arrangement is to care for the children. So those are nannies. Then we have au pairs. Au pairs are people from foreign countries that come to live with a host family. The family is hosting you, and you are going to share in the responsibilities of that family. So it doesn't mean that you must necessarily be a nanny. I think we have student au pairs as well. Okay, so it's not specific. Then 3 is childminders. Childminder to me is another name for nanny, because these are professionals that are also hired to take care of children in their own homes. Okay, so specifically in their own homes. So I don't think there's an option with childminders to live out. You must be living in the same house as a childminder. So I hope you understand these terms correctly. So like I mentioned earlier, there is no visa called the nanny visa, but we have the overseas domestic worker visa. And as of 5th of April 2012, on or before, if you applied for your visa, you could renew it after every 12 months for 5 years, where you have the opportunity to apply for indefinite leave to remain and subsequently permanent residency. But that has changed. So from 5th of April 2012, anybody that applies for that visa after that date, you cannot stay in the country for more than 6 months. Okay, you can come to the country, work for 6 months and go back. You don't have the opportunity to extend that visa, and you cannot switch that visa maybe to a skilled worker visa or any other visa. Let's look at the eligibility criteria for this overseas domestic worker visa. First and foremost, you must be 19 years and above. You cannot be lower than 19 years. 2, you must have been working for your employer for at least 1 year. That means that before you come to UK, whoever you were working with in your country, you must have worked with that person for at least 1 year. 3 is that you must have worked in the same household as your employer, or one that they regularly visit. 4 is that you must travel to the UK with that your employer, their spouse, or their children. Okay. 5 is that you must not stay beyond 6 months, which is the limit of that visa that they are going to give you. 6 is that you must have enough money to support yourself when you come to the UK. 7 is that you are going to be working full-time as the job they are coming. So if you're coming as a nanny, you're going to be working full-time as a nanny. You're not going to be working part-time nanny, part-time teacher. If you're coming as a cook, full-time cook. If you're coming as a driver, full-time driver. So these are the eligibility criteria for this visa. So there are 5 documents in total that you must submit in order to be considered for this visa. 4 are the main ones, and then you have an option for 1. So I'll mention the 4 main ones and then go through the options that you can select from to add up to the 4, making 5. Okay, the very first one is a valid traveling passport, should be current, and it should have enough pages in there for them to endorse your visa in. 2 is proof of funds. You are going to submit your pay slips for the last 6 months or your bank statements for the last 6 months. This is to prove that you can support yourself when you come to the UK. 3 is a statement. Okay, they call it the appendix domestic worker statement. You download it from the government of UK website, you sign it, your employer will sign it. 4 is a letter from your employer stating that you are currently permanently employed by them and you have been working with them for the last 1 year. Okay, so those are the 4 main ones. Now I'm going to mention the options that you have. Okay, you can select any one of these options and add it to the 4 main ones that I've mentioned, making 5 before you submit. So the very first one is a recent pay slip. They want to know how much you're receiving a month. Second is your tax pay document to show that you've paid your tax. Okay. Third, document to show that you've paid your national insurance. Okay. Fourth is any traveling endorsement that you've had. Maybe you've done that before, but in a different country. You can submit records of that, and in addition to those 4 main ones, and they can give you this visa. Okay. 6 is your contract of employment. So the work that you're currently doing, your contracts, you can use that as well. And then finally, you can use your work visa or residential permit or any kind of visa, okay, that you have currently in the country that you are in now, not where you are coming to the UK, this country that you are in. Any of those documents can be added. For more information, just go to the government of UK website and go through the documents that you need. Okay, so one thing that I have noticed about this domestic overseas worker visa is that in order for you to even come to the UK, you must already be employed in your country. So what this is telling me is that this is not a permanent solution for those of you that want to live in the UK for more than 6 months. This is only like you coming to the UK for holidays. Because even your employer, if the person is someone that lives overseas, they should only be coming to the UK for only 6 months, and after that they are going back. And if the person is a British citizen who usually resides outside of Britain, they are only coming to spend 6 months and they are going back. So no matter what, you cannot stay on this visa for more than 6 months. Now let's look at a more permanent visa where you can stay for up to 5 years, and after that you can renew to have your ILR or permanent leave to remain. The other option is by going through the skilled worker visa route, but this time as a nanny or a child minder. Yes, there is that option as well. And with this option, you can stay more than 6 months. In fact, you can live here with sponsorship for up to 5 years, where you can renew it to get your indefinite leave to remain and subsequently your permanent residency. So let's look into that one. So the second option to me is the better option because it is through using the skilled worker route, and a lot of people have come to the UK using this skilled worker route. Child minders or nannies are on the shortage occupation code 6122, which means that if you find an employer, an approved licensed employer who can give you employment and a certificate of sponsorship, then you can come and live in the UK for at least 5 years and then get the opportunity to renew for indefinite leave to remain or permanent residency. Okay, but you must meet the skilled worker visa eligibility and requirements. You must have English language proficiency, whether IELTS or by using the NARIC route if you have a certificate that was taught in English. Okay, you must be approved by a licensed sponsor and must have certificate of sponsorship. You may have to prove your character reference, you may have to do TB test and all those things that we go through on a skilled worker visa. Also, you must prove your funds, that you have at least £1,270 in your account, and you have the opportunity to come with your family, your spouse and children, because it wasn't exempted from the occupations that cannot bring their family or dependents to the UK. So this to me is a much better option. Let's look at places where you can find jobs to become nannies in the UK. So with the option of finding jobs, you can do it yourself as being a self-employed nanny, or you can go through agencies. So there's a website called childcare.co.uk. If you want to be self-employed, that is, you're not working under any agency, you can register on this website. It's not for free, but there's an option to register without membership. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that and then look for jobs as nannies or child minders. But mind you that these people on there are usually private homes, so sometimes they are not able to provide you with a certificate of sponsorship, because remember, if you are going on a skilled worker route, then you must have a licensed sponsor. But if individuals are living in their homes, nobody would bother to become a licensed sponsor. Okay, so in that case, unless of course you're already living in the UK, that you can use this website. But it will be rare for you to find a private home owner who is licensed sponsor. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it will be hard. The next one is an agency, and it's called Little Ones. So you can register under this agency, then they can look for employers for you. Okay, Little Ones. So search for Little Ones on the internet and then register with them. They are an agency who can find you employers. Your other option is by going through Indeed and looking for nanny or childminder jobs. About 90 to 99% of those on Indeed are agencies. So when you apply for the jobs on there, even if you don't get that particular job, they can register and keep your details for when jobs pop up. Okay, so those are your other options. Please take note that it is not people who are hired professionally to be nannies that can also come to the UK to work as nanny. People who work with children, if you work as a nursery madam or crèche madam or someone that teaches children, you already have experience in child care, so you are more likely to work as a nanny in the UK. Also, if you have a good certificate, it is not compulsory, but if you have a certificate, at least basic education, okay, BEC, WASI, diploma, you can still come and work as a nanny in the UK. Bonus points if you have certificate in CPR or first aid. Okay, so if you can get a certificate in basic life support or CPR or first aid, it is an added advantage. Another group of people that can get advantage in becoming nannies are healthcare workers. If you're a healthcare worker, maybe you are a carer, domiciliary, you are also at an advantage of being a nanny in the UK. Also students, if you are a student and you want to switch from your graduate visa to skilled worker visa, you can look into this route as well, because skilled worker visa allows you to live in the country for up to 5 years. So these are other options, ways of switching. But like I said, and don't forget, if you are on the overseas domestic worker visa, no switching. 6 months you are back home. It's like coming for holidays in the UK. But if you aim for the skilled worker visa and you are able to secure a job as a nanny, childminder, au pair, or anything on that visa, as long as the occupation is on the shortage occupation list and you have sponsorship, you can live and work in the UK. A couple of people were asking if you can come to the UK pregnant. If it's 6 months, of course you can come pregnant, but imagine the stress that you'd be putting yourself in. If it's on the skilled worker visa, of course you are going to be here for up to 5 years, so of course you can get pregnant. Okay, so the option is yours. It depends on how you feel you can manage while being pregnant in the UK. So now let's look at the salary. As a nanny, you're going to be earning anywhere from £35,000 to £55,000 per annum, depending on where you are and your experience. So if you've watched this video to this end and you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and join my Telegram pages. So in summary, I've talked about the 2 visas that you can use to come to the UK as nannies, which one I feel is more advantageous, the courses that you have to do, the requirements that you need, where you can apply for jobs, and the salary. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.